So our next guest is Samuel Amanor. I'll let him introduce himself to us and then the audience. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes. So I'm Samuel Amanor, CEO founder for Bluespace Financial Cloud. We're here to build the necessary fintech supply chain that all fintechs need, banks, insurance companies need to thrive in making financial services accessible to everyone.
When you say need, what exactly are you providing?
Perfect. So our financial cloud basically is set up in three components. The first component, which, as you can see, every fintech has to build a product. We enable that product development for the fintech community, as well as any new ideas that we come up with that is fintech friendly. We partner with the financial institutions to make it happen. So that's the first layer. The second layer is building something we call financial operations. Typically, a fintech has to do a lot of things in their back office.
Yeah.
We provide the necessary software, treasury, trade tools, core banking, core insurance systems for them to operationalize. Then the last segment is our financial infrastructure. So this is where you have cloud infrastructure, API security, cybersecurity tools to make sure the infrastructure that the fintech rides on is safe. And we're doing this for pretty much everybody in the industry.
Interesting. These are very big jargons for us that are new to the financial and the technical side of
Yes.
this. And anyway, so
I could break it down.
You could break it down.
Yes.
Kindly break it down for us.
So the first part is like we provide the product that people consume.
Okay.
So you have fintechs who are doing savings, insurance, lending, but these products have to be built.
Yeah.
And there's a very clear process in building fintech products. So fintech as a service is that first layer,
Okay.
right? It's like you go to a restaurant, the chef has already prepared a recipe, but somebody has to put it together. So we help the industry in cooking their fintech ideas and products. So that's the first layer. The second layer is what you do once the fintech has been built. You have to do a lot of operational things to make sure you're still within the regulatory framework, right? So the rules. So again, I'll use a restaurant example. When the food is served, the waiters have to serve the customers. They have to clean the table. They have to wash the dishes. We bring all of those financial operations to that fintech company. Then the last part, which is the infrastructure. Every restaurant, again, has a building.
Yeah.
They have a storage. They have kitchen. We provide the storage infrastructure, the servers they need, the security systems they need to make sure their systems are always online and is trusted and safe. So those are the three layers that we provide to the financial sector.
Thank you very much for explaining. I have a better understanding of what you do now.
Awesome.
Anyway, so looking at the fintech industry, can you tell me about the ecosystem and how it's been growing or how the growth rate has been so far?
Awesome. So fintech has been around for a long time. I think ATMs have been around all the way back to the 60s and 70s in the US. Visa cards, American Express cards, it's been growing. Africa had to reinvent its own solution for fintech. Obviously started with banking systems, then came the telecom companies becoming financial service providers. So your MTN Momo, your Telecel Cash, to just basically build that foundational system for how money moves between customers and businesses. So the ecosystem has been growing. But what we're seeing now is how do you take financial service closer to where business is being done, right? So before, you have to go to a branch.
Yeah.
Now you have internet banking where you can log on to an app. So a lot of the banks in the last maybe 5 years, right after COVID, needed to expand their digital transformation, the digital access, right? So that's been happening a lot. The other thing that's been happening in the industry is that the fintechs who are just picking small components of financial service and building that, a lot of them are coming on the scene. For example, how do you move money from Ghana to Nigeria, right? In the past, it was quite difficult.
Yeah.
Now you have fintechs who are doing that. You have Cheaper Cash, you have Flataway, right? You have a lot of these guys who are helping, Paystack, all these guys are doing that. So the ecosystem is now building up. The other thing we're seeing, fintech alone for payments is not enough. We have to look at how fintech applies to agriculture, how fintech applies to healthcare, how fintech applies to hospitality, right? So another wave we're now seeing is embedding financial services in agriculture, in healthcare, in education, and things like that. So the ecosystem is actually maturing. Obviously, the foundation that was laid by the telco has given Ghana and Africa at large an edge. So if you look at Ghana, we're quite far advanced compared to some of the other markets. So I think the ecosystem is maturing. There's more appetite. The regulators are very excited to sort of bring some clarity. We have crypto, we have digital assets. So the industry is growing a lot. It's becoming very vibrant and it's exciting.
I do agree with you. You know, when we talk about telecoms,
Yes.
How is the tolerance rate for the ordinary Ghanaian? You see, when it comes to MTN mobile money, Vodafone cash, I know that the ordinary Ghanaian has accepted it. But if I'm having a conversation with my grandmother,
Yes.
and I tell my grandmother about maybe let me install a banking app on her phone, you know,
Yes.
there's that kind of
Resistance. Yes.
So how are the ordinary people accepting this new change that is coming into our financial industry?
It's interesting. I mean, let me give you an idea of what happened in the last maybe 20 years when we used to use a typewriter, or when you got a phone call, you would go to a phone booth or an internet center to receive international calls. Typically, the first wave of any change, there's resistance, and it typically takes about 10 years. It took about 10 years for MTN mobile money in general to really gain scale. Same thing is happening in the digital world. Any change doesn't come easily because of the fraud situations, the whole fraudsters, 419ers. So a lot of people are resistant. But think about it. Your grandmother will love it when the son or daughter in Abroche or America sends money and she doesn't have to go to the branch and she can quickly get access to that money on her phone. So I think sometimes the benefits and the risk conversation have to be a bit more explained. And that's why we need more financial literacy in the country. You know, we need more people to explain the good part, the positive side, more than the negative side. So these are the things that we need to do more of: inspire more literacy, inspire more education, inspire more know-how that this thing is good for you, but you have to be careful of some bad things. For example, the other thing too, fire in our homes is very, very helpful. We cook with it, we do a lot of things with it, but we have to be careful how we use fire. In the same way, technology is good for us. We just have to be careful how we use it.
That's true. So, talking about the risk involved, how is the industry, or for a company that is like at the foundation of, you know, developing tech in finances, how are we trying to curb this risk, this fraud, this cybersecurity issues that has to do with our finances?
Yes, yes. So this is very, very good. It's a very good question. You know, the idea of protecting your den, right, doesn't only start with financial services. Almost every home today has walls and has the security wires, right? You have some of them have bodyguards and security guards at their gates, right? So I think it will be sort of naive of us to design financial services and financial service delivery without thinking about the same elements of security that we put in our homes, right? So we think the architecture that we built for fintech, the architecture we built for financial services, can learn a lot from the principles we've taken from even real estate, right? And the more we become intentional about those things, because really access to people's personal data, right? The more we become very intentional in the design from the start, we'll be a bit more safe. And this applies to banks, central banks, payment system providers, and aggregators. All sorts of financial service delivery partners have to think about this in their design.
So I agree that, you know, when you're building the foundation, you do all of these. But recently, there's been the rise of like fraud in when it comes to, you know, even using MTN mobile money, for instance.
So the reason is this, right? Before, we didn't have AI. With AI, you can pick information from so many different sources and make meaning faster than you could before. So the cybersecurity issues that is rising, it's a clear sign that the fraudsters now have more choice. They understand the systems better now, and we have to be a bit more intentional about finding out, hey, if these guys are innovating, we also have to innovate as service providers, right? Because if not, they would overtake us. Imagine a scenario where somebody's using a virtual card that is tokenized to a mobile money account, and the virtual card is issued to somebody in China, and they are shopping online at AliExpress because somebody's mobile money pin has been exposed. How are you going to catch that person? Do you get it?
Yeah.
So there's a need for us to elevate the innovation within the security controls, because now AI is allowing people to innovate at speeds that we never thought possible.
And hopefully we get to the point where we don't have to worry about our money again.
Well, money would always be here with us.
I mean,
money would always be here with us.
I mean, get to the point where we don't have to worry about someone taking our money.
Yes. I think the more literacy, the more intentionality we put into the design, the better for all of us.
All right. Thank you very much, Sam, for...
It's mine. Pleasure is mine.
So,
Thank you.
would like you to tell us your social media handles and that of the company.
Say that again.
We'd like you to tell us your social media handles and that of the company.
Bluespace Financial.cloud. So anytime you type Bluespace Financial, will pop up on all the social media platforms.
Okay.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much.
Take care.
Nice meeting you.
Pleasure.